Thanks for joining us. This is The Economy. Very recently, an economist has been talking about how the Bumiputera policy is shaping up in the country and why we need to focus a little bit more in terms of the evaluation of the Bumiputera agenda, as well as trying to understand a little bit better in terms of how we can improve it. Joining us online is Professor Emeritus Dr. Barjoyai Bardai, the Provost of the Malaysia University of Science and Technology, or MUST. How are you, Professor? Let's take a deep dive in terms of the two big comments that you've just made recently. We start off with the whole idea of how and why you think that the Bumiputera entrepreneurs have been written off of the policy, of the Bumiputera policy, and how the Bumiputera privileges are actually benefiting the political elite and not necessarily the ordinary Bumiputeras. Maybe, Professor, if you can share with us why you think that the NEP, for instance, is benefiting the political elite and not the ordinary person.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim Sani. Let me begin with the economic situation before independence. Basically, Malaysia was colonized by the British India, and while they were colonizing us, looting our asset, they also did harm by basically ditching a lot of lands to the immigrant then. More than 1 million acres of land, about actually, to be exact, about 700,000 hectares. And this has created inequity, a serious inequity, because they are that time they were have less than 5% of the population, and they were controlling majority of the land. And so we live with that, and we progress. Of course, Malaysia has benefited a lot with the rapid development. Our economy has grown from 5 billion before the independent in terms of GDP to become over 1.5 trillion, 300 times. And of course, the poverty has reduced, and the poverty level was over 47, over 80% when we started, and went to 47% in 1970 and so on. But it is still some disparity that we see. And the new economic policy was initiated in 1970 after the clash between the different faction, and that created a concern about we should do something serious to change this. And hence, the new economic policy was enacted with the missions of first increasing the wealth of the Bumiputera, income and wealth, and also the education level and so on. And it went very well in education. Before 1970, only to less than 5% of Bumiputera were in the public university. Today, actually, um, we can be proud that over 3 million of Bumiputera graduated from the university. So in terms of education, we have achieved this success. I think because we were very serious about correcting the education inequity. But the problem is in wealth and income. Actually, we achieved nearly 20% equity by 1990, but that was short of the 30% target that we want. And then in 1990, suddenly the government decided that there's no point continuing with the NEP because there is very little to share, and the cake is very small. So we need to work hard to make the cake bigger. Then only we can think about redistribution, and that's when the new economic policy went in. The not the Bumiputera policy, the rapid development policy, and so by 1990, by 2000, year 2000, we really saw that the rapid development of the economy, but that has deteriorated the equity of the Bumiputera. It went down as low as less than 15%. So then we started to go into the micro measurement, seeing what has really happened in the last 30 or 40 years. And we realized that actually the new economic policy has not really benefited the mass or majority of the Bumiputera. It has benefited many of the elite group, the cronies to the ruling party, the government or the politician, and even to a certain extent, we can say that some of the benefit in the education policy or incentive has also benefited this group. And today we are again at the crossroad. Many people think that especially the small and micro businesses, felt that it is useless to think about NEP, and we cannot hold to this dream of getting anything out of NEP. And so they write off NEP from their dictionary, and they are trying to be independent. So this has been a while. I think if we ask many micro businesses, small businesses, Bumiputera, in the past decade or more, they've been actually ignoring NEP. Then they have not mentioned about NEP, never asked about anything from NEP, and they are quite successful. Today, if we go around the country, we can see that Bumiputera micro businesses and small businesses are mushrooming. They are doing well. I mean, actually, we cannot imagine 40 years ago we see a Malay shop in the town. Today, in some town, actually they are even competing well with the non-Malay, for example. So with that background, we see that today the we talk about NEP as a threat and deterrent to the rapid economic development because of the tariff agreement and so on. But on the other hand, actually, it has also affected the most successful Bumiputera businesses' reputation because they were accused of holding tight to this NEP promise and hoping that they will make better, for example.
Professor, let's talk a little bit more in terms of the second idea, which is on creating an endowment fund. You were talking about to the press very recently on the National Fund to support Bumiputeras and perhaps not just on, say, for instance, relying on governmental aid. Maybe you can share with us this endowment fund idea. And how do you think that this is going to be supporting education of Bumiputera talents, or supporting Bumiputera entrepreneurs, or supporting Bumiputera social enterprises, and of course community work? How do you think, and why do you think we need to have this endowment fund?
Okay. I think for Bumiputera to let go the NEP altogether would be unreasonable because it is also stated in the Constitution. So, as a concession, we should try to create a level playing field in the economy. And to create level playing field, we have to correct the damage that has been created before independence by the colonial, and that is to even out the equity shares. And so I was proposing an endowment fund. We create an endowment fund. Essentially, it is a foundation set up, and we will uh, then transfer some of the whatever leftover wealth, the Malay Reserve land, the government land, the state government land, the part of the equity of the GLC, of the state economic development corporation. If we transfer this to this fund will operate like the Norway oil fund, and this is need not be specifically uh, devoted for Bumiputera, but it's for the needy group. And of course, in particular, it's the Bumiputera group. And this fund will be managed well by professional manager, and it can be formed in the form of a wakaf, so that it will be permanently there, because the wakaf principle is stopping the asset, and only enjoy the fruits. And so the income from this endowment fund will then be used to assist in various aspects of living, from education, health, and but in particular in for micro businesses, small businesses, for to help them, to support them to grow, to be competitive, because this micro and we have over 1 million micro businesses in Malaysia. All of them are doing well, rather viable, but they are short of capital. They need to be supported so that they can grow and move into the next level.
Uh, Professor, let's deep dive into this whole notion of the NEP per se. Taking a step back, do you feel that we need to have a revamp policy on how we can improve the Bumiputera's fate, or do you feel that for instance, Putra 35 that talks about the economic transformation of Bumiputera 2035 is a good enough document and a good enough blueprint to work on, and perhaps that would be the successor to the NEP? Where do you see the grand scheme of things when it comes to Bumiputera policies?
Yes, it is a good plan, but I think the focus is still on developing individual wealth. And what I'm suggesting is that we develop communal wealth, so that the wealth of the Bumiputera group will be enhanced in the form of a wealth fund, endowment fund, and that will stay there, sustainable. It will be there forever. I mean, until Kiamah, hopefully. And at the same time, we have the benefit from this fund that will help to actually spearhead the initiative to help the micro and the small businesses. Of course, we should go on with the Putra 35. I think it should run in parallel, but this can be the base, because a plan like Putra 35 is too ambitious, and it really needs a full support of the government. And for a moment, I think the government is not ready to do that, because they want to look at themselves as a more they call it the people governments in a sense. Yeah.
Finally, Professor, what are your key takeaways when it comes to the Bumiputera agenda? What are your greatest fears and hopes, and more importantly, wants coming out of this policy?
I think we should look at the Bumiputera initiative in the form of family initiative, no? And I want to actually propose the principle of family wakaf. And in Malaysia, we have been having wakaf for thousands of years. But wakaf in Malaysia was confined to giving away land and properties. But actually, there is a more refined principles of wakaf, which is called the family wakaf, where every family should actually create a wakaf. And this is in the form of saving and investment, where we will contribute into this fund just like a saving fund or investment fund, and it will be managed by the head of the family as the mutawali or the trustee, and it will then grow the wealth with trying to fix the capital there and only enjoy the benefit from the investment. So if we can, for example, couple this with the institution, the investment institution that we have, like KWSP, PNB, we could actually grow investment community within every family, and investment need some discipline. And for example, with the digital economy today, we can always use QR every time we make payment. We will allocate 1% into our family wakaf, and so the wakaf will grow. And this wakaf is called family wakaf, and it stay with the family, and the family will be enjoying all the benefit from it until certain time when, for example, the head of the family pass away. They can bring some of it and put it in the general wakaf. So in the sense, we create a new culture against the current culture of the conventional financial system, with the financial literacy, which encourages to borrow. We want to promote wakaf literacy with the culture of saving, investment for the eternal. This is maybe quite uh, uh, um, uh, a big idea to chew, but we should start thinking about it. And already I have received some invitation to start a foundation. So that is a good move. We can start several foundation, Bumiputera Foundation, along the way of the Wakaf principle, and later on merge and nationalize and broaden it with the contributions of the corporate sector under CSR and so on. So this should start from the bottom and move up, I think.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That was the Professor Emeritus Dr. Bajaya Bardai, the Provost of Malaysian University of Science and Technology, or MUST. And we thank you again for joining us for today's episode. By the way, if you want to learn more about episodes such as this, just head on to Astro AWANI and find out more there.